keyboard's like my heart. It shines in RGB and it's full of blood. I don't know what is wrong with me, but I'm scared, pissed off and lonely. I have trouble speaking to women unless they're 2D or high definition. Spend all my time on social media. This is the state that I'm in. Twitter feeds like my brain, cause I have it on dark mode. Memorize everything she says so I can use it to guess her passcode. She's beauty, she's grace. She has a profile picture of her gorgeous face. To try and get more sponsors, try and get more sponsors. But why don't you care? I've spent the past 10 years of my life making you bad. You're political enough but not contrary, sexual enough but not enough to scare me. Give me a reason not to be on my knees. The internet's ruined me. I must sound insane, but that's part of the package. If she can't handle me at my worst, she don't deserve my mental baggage. I know you want 6'4", but 1 foot more, and I'd almost be tall enough to reach the high shelf. Be your incel, I think I might be a threat to myself. A threat to myself. Does she run when I'm monthly giving her 50% of my income? It feels like my ideas of affection are based around artificial perfection. I just want to appease, but the internet's ruined me.
I'll tell you a little secret of mine. If you promise not to tell, if you have the time. Everyone has gotten you, always on the run. But if you join the syndicate, life could get a little more fun. And all of the horses and all of the men won't learn from history. It's all the same in the end. I've told you once and I'll tell you again. The syndicate is looking for.
Hi, I swear I'm alive. I'm just really out of it. Why? I haven't been sleeping, but we'll talk about that. Hi, welcome. I'm tricking my brain into doing alt things because I've been procrastinating. Who knows what the fuck I would be doing? Here, let me get comfortable. Okay, cool.
Hey, this is serious. It's
Yes, Mickey Mouse, thank you so much for the follow. Right.
All properly once and for all. They call us the villains because they know we'll take
Alright, let me actually get working, but first of all, I'm changing the song. I'm not talking about the other song I just played. Alright. Get the sleeves. Also, welcome to what I've been using to make all of my assets.
Passing the time as we roam across the
Right.
ocean. Feel the waves
So I do need to...
as they rock you with emotion.
Oh, I'm just gonna copy this.
Falling like a lullaby, singing like a siren's cry.
Fuck yeah.
Through every night,
Copy of donations. Give me that shit.
me all your devotion. Who knows where we'll go?
Oh shit.
Over the deep blue
Your purple hair. Yeah, it's faded.
rays of the sails, chasing the winds on a new adventure.
It's a lot more purple than red, but also there's natural sunlight. Can you not actually talk to my chat? Oh no. Alright. I don't want to do black. That's not how you spell tarot, is it? Nope. Yep, there we go. Okay. Actually, no, I want the There it is. Well, I found the thing I'm gonna use for my opening. That's it. I like it. Thank you, thank you. I actually did my hair for charity. I did it for Virtually Nix's chat because they reached the goal and Nix couldn't dye her hair, so I was like, fuck it, I'll dye my hair. I need to do it anyways. Okay. I'm opening up the Insomniac Void alt in the background. Also, you should definitely go follow my alts. There's no stream ups. I forgot to. But yeah. Alright, keep about. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 in total. Huh. This is not gonna. The sound of music coming in. Are these by the same person? Yes, they are. Okay. Gotcha. I knew there was other things.
It's not a game. I'm out
Honestly, I
of
understand to
ball,
This is probably not going to be a long stream. Actually, I cannot confirm or deny that statement. I don't pay attention. There usually is a way. Here we go. Give me all of them. Where is. There's that. There we go. Because it follows just my theme. Alright, donations. 6 hour stream. Good enough. I have not done a very long stream in a fucking forever. So, and again, I'm that person that has a week stream coming up. Oh, I have to actually schedule that. I have to talk to people. Okay. Do we make donations a different color? Because it kind of blends in too much. What's a good color for donations? making me want to dye my hair. I'm gonna be honest. If you're just dyeing it, go ahead, but do not bleach your hair continuously like I do, because your hair will fucking hate you. I literally, wait a second, 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 wait a second. Perfect. Oh, yeah. Color doesn't extremely damage your hair. Just depends on like the brand you use, because I use a mix of like Arctic Fox and those brands. And so like they don't use all the chemicals so they don't hurt your hair. And then bleach is what actually kills it because it's chemically changing your hair. And so if you do it long enough, like you can't see it well in my because I'm taking care of it, but it like fries your hair. And if you try to go get it stuff professionally done with it, it turns to like super gummy, so it's like really stretchy. That's not a fun thing. Also, donations is done. God. Okay, question is what color is your hair right now and what type of green? Also, yes, I have a jar of just like Monster and soda taps. Don't judge me. I like collecting weird things. Okay. Alright. It's because the seasons change. Son of a bitch. It's because when the seasons change, your hair appears darker and or lighter. It's because your skin also changes. So in the summer, you usually get a lot more like tanner. Well, in the winter, you lose all your pigmentation because like there's not enough. Just realized you haven't heard my newest voice. Oh God. No, because even though Dream doesn't copyright his music on streams, I still get fucking sniped, which is annoying. This piece of hair, man. I could actually put fuck. I opened something I didn't want to open. Alright. I literally just forgot how to spell donations. I sound like a squishy rat. Not fun. Let's not do that. Don't link to fuck. Hi, hello. God, I actually have to go to like my actual donation thing. Stream elements. I'm just gonna snag what I have written and save, so it's like any tips incredibly supportive and are really optional if you do not deserve. You think I deserve it? There you go. Can't fucking refund because PayPal's a bitch. Alright. The donations are up. Alright, what is next? It's no good, Jamie.
I know I don't want to.
we don't talk about what I sound like when I was a child. I think everyone cringes at their own voice. Alright,
When you need some love, I know I'm the last one you try to call, but I always give in.
Oh god, I sometimes forget I have 2 YouTube channels. I'm just like, hello.
I can't be your midnight love.
Okay. Let's work on the About Us next.
My goal.
Let's go back to here. Instagram ending scene copy of VOD. Also, welcome to like where I already mentioned this. It's cringe because I sound more deep in general, but on mic I'm really yeah. Yeah, there's videos of like little me on YouTube that are all deleted now because it's fucking cringe. And it's like I don't sound like this IRL. Right. Make a copy. No. Hello Joe, welcome to the stream. How are you? We are creating things for my alt stream. Because I've been a little bit lazy as of recently to do this, so I'm tricking my brain into working. How are you? I'm gonna use this for the starting student stream because that's fucking cool. Also, yes, we are listening to Girl in Red. See all. Which is funny. I love like looking at this because I have so many fucking goddamn sets of tarot cards around me, and because like I moved my entire room, shit is just scattered everywhere. So it's like I have 2 on like my actual like magically crystally place, and then I have another that's like that's within hand reach. But okay, I don't want to do the tower. Let's do the full.
Brush off the dirt and let my chain
What the symbols mean? I'm gonna be honest, neither do I, but I like learning about magically things. Like I can tell you about a little bit of them. Like I know the death card means what did I do for that? Alright, I did a dark gray. The death card usually means like new beginnings if you have it like up front. As I'm wearing tarot card earrings right now. I think it's even funnier. But yeah, it's basically yeah, because I'm still learning about them because it's not like my full aesthetic. Also, I'm pretty sure it's National Tarot Card Day, which is even more fucking interesting. I'm pretty sure YouTube did something, so that's how I found out. I can leave my stream elements. I have so many tabs open, it's ridiculous. Oh god. No, it's not weird because hi, I play D&D, so I do that shit all the time. We don't talk about the character playlists that live. Okay. too. See, welcome to the stream. How are you? Oh yeah, I do. It's pretty easy. How are you? We're making things for my alt stream. That is the wrong button. Yoink.
There was an avalanche of change. We were so
Yeah, Canva is such like a neat tool. Yeah, like, hello. Yeah. This is where I make everything for my streams.
ourselves a hurricane.
Wait, I just remembered something. Yes.
They were
Alright. The starting the stream and end scenes are gonna be next. Alright, About Me is done.
like a domino.
I'm pretty sure. But then again, a Wayward is also head mod, so she makes calls. I don't know, I have to ask them. They're coming back soon, I can ask them about that. I don't know if it downloaded. No, you were. Like, you're not going crazy. You 100% were. I probably need to go yell at them now. I don't know. Wayward usually doesn't make, like, rash decisions. Bestie. Moving me about me over here. About me. There's gonna be no links. I'm gonna yoink my own description. See, error in the making. Hi. I know, welcome back to the face cam, because college Wi-Fi doesn't let me connect to it, but yeah, you get to see me actually, like, work. Hello, I'm Eric. I actually need to change that. Hello, I'm Ren. I'm on a very chaotic cloud with no filter. Smith, awesome. Actually, you know what, now, since we... Use Karen for college as well. Not really. I'm too lazy to go hunt for everything. There we go. Welcome to the alt. Yeah, there we go. They're being uploaded. Oh my god, we're back. We're back on the I look like Black Widow conversation. Bestie, do you want to update?
This was all my design. You will always be mine.
Okay.
Back here
What's next? They brought me Discord. Hell yeah. Copy of Discord. So fun.
I'm trying to fight it. I'm trying to hide it.
What card should we use for Discord?
But I keep on hurting and you
Just
keep returning.
Send that to Ray. Ray's been working on a bunch of art as of recently, so if you want like emos, just go ask them. I'm gonna expose her. Hey, I go by the they them pronouns, get them right, respect the pronouns. The world, the moon, death, judgment, temperature. The levers. We're doing the double. We're doing the double for Discord. Make it a little bit more chaotic.
Try to run me through. Hold on. Think again. Don't you know what you're starting? But you sure we got the clue. How bad this we go? Don't you
Oh
know?
no,
No more art.
that's a very good idea. I'm gonna be honest.
Horizon.
It's funny because a lot of like a lot of things are Discord. The mother is home. No, it's very funny because everyone's like, "Oh, you guys aren't as chaotic in Discord." No, we just have channels that people don't. Thank you. We call this the charity hair because I did it for charity because I was in Virtual Nexus chat and I DM'd her on Discord and I was like, hey, I know you can't dye your hair, but I need to, so make it a goal and I'll do it. And they reached the goal. And then I dyed it. I mixed like 4 different colors. Yeah. It is very pretty. It looks a lot different because again, we have natural light. Even though like someone looked at my window as I did that. That's the most awkward shit. Yeah, I usually dye my hair by myself. Right before, funny enough, right before we left school, I dyed my friend's hair. It's charity hair. No, funny enough, actually I can pull up what my next hair color is gonna be because it's saved on my Instagram. Wait, people, artists I really like are posting. Hold up. The fuck? Oh, wait, I have something to show. So I was taking photos last night because there was a thunderstorm. Tell me why it looks like in this photo I have no face. And so I sent this to my friends and I was like, you see someone who looks like you, run away and hide for the Mandela effect. Yeah, let me actually go back to my Instagram. One second. I found it.
Mixing video. Today we're taking Sterling and Girls Night on a level 10 base, and we are going to be mixing those together with about a 60-40 mixture. The 60
Shut up, Twitter.
40 being Girls Night. Now when you mix these colors together, it should be this really beautiful like ash purple. And then absolutely loving how this color is looking.
It makes my camera makes it look a lot more purple, but it's like a purplish grayish.
Used to love his mystery, but now
So yeah, if you want to make it, you just have to get Arctic
another
Fox.
day spent just laying in his room, the stench of incense and some undelivered food.
Didn't realize my audio was on my phone. Save as.
And she
I keep forgetting I have a whole folder that is just filled with streaming things, so I could just drag it there. But no, all right.
him and his obsessions with trivial
We
things.
don't ask about that. Okay. Where do I have?
'Cause I finished your text message with.
Alright, usually my schedule goes next, but I don't have a full schedule saved for.
And when you hold his hands,
It doesn't feel like flying.
and when you take his breath away,
He might as well be dying.
and you're dying to breathe, you're trapped in his cage.
I'm just going to literally fucking yoink.
And she
My own Discord.
thought, what if he just never leaves? What if he doesn't get the message?
It's pretty easy to do
Doesn't
that.
hear my pleas, so she just started screaming. Why can't he just
Give me all the pictures of
bore
V.
me to death?
Oh, you wanna know what's
Oh,
funny?
why
I can make
can't
V in the
he
fucking
just
Sims,
bore
and I didn't even
me to
realize.
death?
Now you might be asking why. Because I have a blindfold
Why
saved.
can't he
Because me and my friend were just generally
bore
downloading
me
content that we liked, and I didn't even care. And then it popped up in the men's section. I was like, oh fuck, I can make V.
Can't he just bore me to death?
It's never a stream without this playlist. It's the best, it's the only playlist, and it's the best playlist. Even though I really should split up like my playlist where it's like the instrumental music and then lyrical music. So it's like depends on the vibe you want. Alright.
We all move on. Some faster than others. We all know. We all sacrifice. In a bath late in the evening, building up sorrow.
Air thunderstorm started. Whoopsie, I didn't do that. Look at that. It looks so pretty. Oh, I have to move my Discord. How did that happen?
But I can't say that I wasted my time. 'Cause I'm
Look, all I said was that there was a thunderstorm earlier today.
and I
No,
can't
it's fine.
say
Let's see if that actually works. Hell
that it is
Oh.
over. 'Cause that wouldn't be true. So thank you.
That is the best fucking... The coffin is my favorite. That is a gorgeous picture.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So we got the Fool, Death, and then we have the Devil. Did you see the picture of you in Discord? I did, because it opened it up.
We both remember that
V is one of those people that has like the most like memeable face, and it's so
you
enjoyable.
sat on
Alright.
me. And we cried, oh, how we cried
Yeah.
in that moment.
I love how I made this like so nice, and now I'm just like, haha, kind of fuck it up. Alright.
And I can't say that I wasted my time, 'cause I'm built by you.
Do I want to make 2 Twitter panels?
And I can't say
Do I really
that
want to? Because I have my main, and then I have my,
it is
and
over,
then we have the alt that's not like private or anything.
true.
That's a later thing.
So thank you.
I think we're just gonna make the one. We'll see if I do anything later.
All I can say is
Thank you. Twitter is a dark place, so where's the moon? There it is.
I can't
Send me. I love seeing x-rays of things.
won't miss you. One, two, three, four.
There we go. Nice. I'll look at it in a little bit.
Bouncer greets us at the door. He can tell we've been here before, so he lets us pass. We climb up
I broke it. Good.
flights of stairs and find that spot in the corner.
Oh God, you did. I mean, I feel that pain because I've also, I don't know what I did. I didn't break it, and I didn't, like, I fractured something up here. It wasn't my shoulder, but it was just a bone somewhere up here. Which I thought would be a lot more painful since, you know, I have a tattoo around that area. I'm a tough potato.
It's white wine in a Wetherspoons. It's fine dining.
Yeah, it's usually after you break your first bone, your body's just like, alright, bet.
She walks down the motorway. How many drugs have you done?
Making a streaming house. Streamlabs. We're with Stream Elements now. Because it works a lot better with OBS. I just found out that I could have both of my... I learned that I can have both of them saved because when you switch from your different accounts with OBS, it doesn't delete your slides and stuff, so I learned that I could just have them there. So after we're done with all of these, we'll actually make like the starting soon and ending screen. I almost fainted 3 times before I got the surgery, and then took 3 hours until I finished surgery. I was awake for the second time I dislocated my leg, and then when I got my arm, because I didn't have to go into surgery, but the first time I dislocated my leg, I was actually in public, so they sent me to the hospital, and then they put me to sleep so they can put it back, which I don't understand why they did, because it was not like the worst thing ever, and then we learned that I have an incredibly high tolerance to like medication, so if I'm injured, they have to give me like ketamine or something, which is scary. Yeah.
God knows how I'll get home tonight.
Honestly, actually no, Ray follows it.
I lost the passion that comes with living.
Found it.
Since I started university, I took a geography course to learn the date lines and maybe use a sextant. But now I just press facsimiles. You're exactly who you wanted to be. That's what you said. 'Cause if you wanna watch TV and sleep all day and lay in bed, but you're forgetting that I got to go to work and eat my food and pay my rent and reproduce and feed those kids and maybe use a sextant. I don't miss you. I miss the thought of what we were.
How's it look?
This is the part where I shut up and let you infest
The alt Twitter where it's more chaotic. That is true. I don't post a lot of my alt. But yeah, I'm more unfiltered on there.
Never get rid of me. Oh, I'm like a fucking disease. I'll make a home in your gut. 'Cause it's somewhere warm to sleep.
And actually sing. I'm not
What was
sure.
your thought when you realized you'll never feel naive love again? Was it pain or was it sickness? Were you
Something literally
proud
gets stuck in my throat.
you'd been? The shyness waiting for his phone calls
Here we go.
replaced by apathy in dating
I have
apps.
nothing
You
on my
held
fucking
hands
TikTok.
and felt like flying. Now he's just another man. You'd rather he was inside than beside you.
Alright, that's Wheel of Fortune. That's the star.
But he's talking marriage and a future.
Again, I
He's picking a
am
lock.
barely on my
doesn't
TikTok.
go into.
Second. Okay.
This knife in a wound. He's a suture.
Oh, the High Priestess?
I don't miss you. I miss the thought of what we were. This is the part where I shut up and let
gonna
you
do the chariot.
infest my brain, but it's okay. It's a strategy to ensure I remain. You'll never get rid of me. Well, I'm like a fucking disease. I'll make a home in your gut.
It sounds like I have a nice singing voice.
Somewhere warm to sleep.
But in reality,
It's okay.
Why is there only 2 options for this?
It's
Okay, that's not weird. That's fine. It also depends on the song I'm singing. Because there's some songs where, like, I can sing fine. Like, I can sing along to Wilbert songs pretty easily. As long as there's, like, no insane high notes. But if I try to sing, like, incredibly fast, my voice, like, actually dies. And it, like, cracks a lot.
Maybe use a sextant.
Yeah, I need to post more on my TikTok. I've been saying that for fucking months now. Have I done it? No. Absolutely not. Why? Because I don't have access to my TikTok. I got logged out of both of them. What? Oh, that's a game. I was like, why am I getting a notification for someone that just says I'm free? I actually have to go on the TikTok to find it.
Look at what you've done. Is this what you call glory? Do you still believe you're the hero of your story? I longed for peace, but you couldn't leave it be. Now you've
Is it bad? I want to
played
see
your
like how
part
bad my
in
TikToks are.
this forever unfinished symphony.
I have 2 videos on TikTok. I had 3, but I deleted the other one because I hated it.
It hurts and it hurts and it's getting worse. A promise you made, cut down by your blade. Can't stand the rain, can't stand the pain.
How the fuck do I spell my
It breaks my heart when you tear it apart. So why did you lie? Why did your words
I have the link. You can go discover it.
and why did it fall? Why did you leave me here with nothing?
Oh, I remember this. I was so tired.
You've done, is this your happy ending?
Yes. I have, oh my god, I have 169 likes. No one's allowed to like anything else.
Around and see, this is history
Oh
repeating.
my, these are old too. Oh yeah, I bashed my knee into my table and I told V and I was like, hey, and he fucking laughed at my pain. Holy shit. Why do I have loads of
It was by your
Why do you?
You've turned a masterpiece into
You know what? No, I'm getting my login information. I'm fucking taking my clips and I'm posting them.
Oh, it hurts, and
But
it
also,
hurts,
wow.
and it's
How?
getting worse. You
Look at that. Alright, TikTok. I rarely post her, but I might. There's
enforcing your
first.
personal
Here's
grudge, and
There was a video on there.
for this war
There was a thirst trap we made, but I hated it because it was fucking cringy, so we deleted it.
when you
But yeah, we don't talk about that. It's called my Instagram. It is my Instagram and it is my Twitter. I am not active on, and I need to get more active on my Twitter or on my Instagram. Because you can tell I also don't mind. You can also tell I don't pulling up on my phone. Now you might be asking, oh, it could have not been that long. You would be wrong. Why are you asking for my birthday? Okay, it's not showing me my post. But my pronouns are still they, she on there when it has been a long time since I've had those pronouns. So yeah, that's a fun thing to look at. Alright, so we have donations, about me, Discord, our Discord, Twitter, and TikTok. I forgot, I just... Oh fuck, I didn't copy this one, so this one's... Oh. Let me actually make a schedule. What's a pronoun? It's a... I don't know how to explain it, but it's how you, like, you're talking about someone a different way, like she, he. So it's like she likes this, or like he likes that. I like they. It's a non-binary, so it's like they like this item, that is theirs, all that type of things. And some people have like good pronouns, like Sniffers goes by they, she. Yeah. Alright, for the schedule. The schedule, we're doing High Priestess. Yes. Are you saying, oh my god, because this Undertale music playing? Alright, High Priestess is gonna have to be like a very tiny. Yeah, we're gonna sadly have to leave the High Priestess like this. I mean, it's fucking perfect. 'Cause I know for a bunch of people Technoblade's their hero. You know what this country knows about? Oh my god. That is hilarious. There's a bird on my leg. Where's the whole song? Why? There's no reason for them to be turned on. Alright, this one's gonna be the only one. I mean, I'm quite good at PvP. I still remember from my last 24-hour stream, I was like, oh good, he became gayer. Which I am still laughing at. Alright. Everything go in this folder. My brain doesn't want to spell right now. I'm just gonna put whenever I have the time because I don't have a set schedule for the alt. It's more of just like, hey. There we go. I don't like how this is the only one that's got the white background, but it's fine. Well, I mean, some of them do, like the Chariot has it and then the Devil has it. But again, it's fine. No one cares. Okay. Again, I will reorganize these when I have the time. And all for very chaotic asexual photography stream, they then cure the bats and for a lot of swearing and screaming. Still relatable. I just don't scream as much anymore. Okay. So schedule. Make a copy of the VOD. I have to use the bathroom. I will be right back for like a hot second. We are back. Huh? Oh? Fan art? Dude, there's some people in this world that like I see their art and I'm just like, hi, please teach me your ways. As much as I appreciate Persona music, not right now. That song, that gets me in trouble. Alright. Okay.
So yeah, you've been making music for 4 years. You're clearly fucking super passionate about it, and you must be good at it. I think do it, bro. You're doing it already. already, you just haven't posted it.
I'm still on the run. Opposition's trying to get
Did I
me.
get rid of
I'm
my
still
Instagram
swerving
one on
till
here?
I'm done, one off the gas until it's
Oh, shit, I
empty. All
did.
these bitches trying to front. All my exes can't forget me. I still fucking hate
Uh-oh.
myself. I still fucking can't accept me. I'm still on the run. Opposition's trying to get me. I'm still swerving till I'm done, more off the gas until it's empty. All these bitches trying to front. All my exes can't forget me. I still fucking hate myself. I still fucking can't accept me.
That's so cute. I'm now actually like in Discord looking at things. In actual scripts.
Spent a lot of my time waiting, fucked up, still trying to figure out how to face it. Got better vision like LASIK. Fuck
I,
one, get the fuck out of my face, bitch. Going for the top, I'm spraying. Full metal shots, still miss, I take him. Never really cared if
Funny
I'm
enough, I made the joke to my friend.
I'm still on the run. Opposition's trying to get me. I'm still swerving till I'm done, more off the gas
I
until
made the
it's
joke
empty.
to
All these bitches trying to
the V I know in real life. And I was like, damn, I have more consistent streaming schedule than most of the people I know. And he's like, no the fuck you don't. He's like, bitch, you literally fell asleep last night when you were supposed to be streaming. So yeah, what is the reason I didn't stream yesterday? I'm gonna be honest, I passed the fuck out last night. I was awake. I was like awake and active, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stream, I'm gonna work. I didn't wake up till about 8 p.m. And then I was so tired. When the fuck did that become a setting? Hold up. Huh? What? Excuse me? I did not ask for this. Huh? I'm not gonna question when that was turned on. But verification now should be turned off. Hey. Well, again, I have my. There we go. My camera was in the way of my lamp because every time I fucking move it. There we go. Okay. Oh god, I have to re-add my Instagram and I don't want to. Right. I actually am doing something. Okay. Do I even want to know how far along I am in missing VODs? No. Absolutely not. Do we have the Hangman? Schedule... No. Cool. I don't care if it's not even centered. We're here to spite. Would you like me to go get Jerry? I know where he is. He's downstairs. No, tickets. He's alive? Yeah, he's downstairs. He's in a partially unpacked suitcase. But he's alive. Give me my friend back. Alright, give me 1 second to put this in and then I will. I love how you type in Air Venus, it's either you get my VOD or you get Undertale things. And either way, it's funny as hell. Oh god, yeah, we are 3 weeks behind on VODs. Ooh, spoopy music. Spoopy music is best music. This actually isn't the spoopy music. Where to watch past videos. Look at how snazzy this is getting. Alright, I'm gonna go get Jerry. Turn this off in case someone decides to come in here.
We laid our names to rest along the dotted line. Left our date of birth and our history behind. We were full of life, we could barely hold it in. We were amateurs at war, strangers to suffering. We made our families proud, but scared at the same time. We promised we'd be safe, another life from the front lines. Our backs against the wall, we're surrounded and afraid. Our lives now in the hands of the soldiers taking aim. Our questions ricochet like broken satellites. How our bodies born to heal become so prone to die. Your time is ruthless. It showed us kindness in the end. By slowing down from love, second
I need a microphone for that, but like, he's here, he's alive.
we heard a voice proclaim, lay your weapons
He's gonna hang out right here.
the calling
Until I can find a better place to put him, he's right here.
on account of losing track of what we're
Alright.
fighting for. So we
So I have Twitter, the schedule, my TikTok, the VODs, Discord, about me, and then donations.
while a brand new war began.
So we just need the Instagram.
Nights have grown so
So we need the Instagram,
we beg for
my YouTube, and then the thing to my actual account. Cool. So we just need 3 more.
kindness in the heart of every broken broken man who comes right up to the edge of losing everything.
Oh damn. It's just a little. Jay, shall we bring him on? Absolutely. He's the mod until Wayward gets here. Copy of VOD. I love that. Okay. So even I'm like, what cards have I not used? Elements. See all. I haven't used the levers yet, so let's use them. Right? I haven't. Oh damn, the hangman got fucked. There we go. Wait, let me get this one downloaded.
Our universe was clothed in light.
Shelby, our new streamer. Ow! That kind of hurts. I'm kidding.
Pulling at the seams. Our once barren world now brims with light.
That would be funny as hell.
We may have fallen in love.
Stop it. Go there. Thank you.
Every time we open up our eyes,
More things I have to delete. Hold up.
I guess space and time
What?
takes violent things, anger things, and makes them kind. We are the dust of dust. We are the apple of God's eye.
Sorry, I'm like, I looked through this and I'm like seeing like all my stuff and I was like, what?
As the universe
Oh, you can be the sidekick. Fuck off. I made this channel. I've been here for fucking years. You see around, don't be afraid to call me. He's downstairs. Wait, no, I do have a sushi picture. I have a sushi picture though. This little shit stole my chair. I literally was online earlier, and then I used the bathroom and I come out and he stole my chair. You can't tell, but Gucci's in this photo, and I took this when I got back home from taking photos in the rain because I was fucking cold. Yeah, Sushi is somewhere. He's downstairs. I do not disturb him. I do not drag him anywhere. Mom swore at me. Is it because you are still awake when you should not be awake? Gucci living the life of luxury. You swore at me. So I was telling you. Ah, gotcha. Fuck. Gucci living the life of luxury. That cat will be fucking living the life of luxury. Gucci just be vibing. Like, he's an annoying little shit. I'll give him that. But like, that cat do be living a good life. Alright, I have to do the sun next for sure.
every time we open up.
I still cannot get over Wayward literally got done with finals and edited a video. How long is said video? 48 minutes. And I thought she was joking. And she's like, no, the video was literally 48 minutes. And then she received, for the next 4 days, she could not get the goddamn thing to download properly with a nice, what is the quality for this video? The quality is 480. Oh my gosh, it's raining so much. I felt that. That's what happened yesterday. And she was like, if this is not good quality, I'm sorry, but there is physically no fucking way I'm getting this any better. Because it would just crash every time. And she's like, I was like, I don't care. Just please get it up. And we will figure it out later. But my god. I've never seen her want to murder a video so much in her life. Gucci! Gucci's meowing. Gucci! What are we listening to? Oh. That is a world building playlist I have. I've never witnessed, put Jerry in your head like all times, I've never witnessed Wayward's bad side. Yes. I never want to witness it's not like super, everyone's like, oh my god, it's incredibly scary. It's like, yes and no. It just depends what is near the bitch. Because Wayward owns a baseball bat because they were a softball player. And then they also are literally banned from a Walmart. Why? Because they caused a Walmart parking lot fire. So it's called, yeah, Wayward is kind of scary, but if you've known her for long enough, they're fine. They won't kill you. Like, Wayward just gets annoyed, like, easily at things. Oh, they're Jerry. Nice. I don't... Alright, there we go. The YouTube is up one. Yeah. It is a 48 fucking minute video. And I don't know how she did it. I'm so amazed it was even uploaded. Alright. We have 2 more. This is Spider Dance 100%. I hear the gooch. There we go. You got your friend. He has been dealing with my mental breakdowns in college. Why? because he was with me in college. Which, oh boy, were not fun times. Yeah, I'm not gonna die. So help me, Gucci. I'll fluff that down duster if I have to. I see your head. I actually have a heart-shaped head. Thank you very much. I don't know why I know that. I just do. Which is forever interesting to me as to why I know that. I was talking about Jerry. I was a little squished. He was in a suitcase for a couple days. Yeah, yeah, he's a little bit squished. Excuse me? Oh, Gucci's doing some shit. Jerry abuse. I had to move. Since I realized I don't have my Instagram saved anymore. There we go. Hey, here he is. Oh my god, the day. Whoever said moist ice cream, you are dead to me. Jack controls, now you put him. Yeah, oh my god. Everything said sleepy time at desk. I actually fell asleep on my desk multiple times. There's the affiliate. Favorite fucking lighter. This is a video. I'm pretty sure it's because like it was offering me to follow myself. That's illegal. Suffer. At least I'm not throwing him. This looks so satisfying, like aesthetically pleasing to look at. She's breaking the rule of the Jerry. I could throw him and make it worse. Your follow ahead and follow. Surprisingly. There we go. He gets part of my seat. Alright, I just have one more, and then I can organize all this. She is angry. She is angry. He's like, please help me. He's just mad because there's another stuffed animal I care about more. I need food. Please go get food. Alright. So we have the sun, the hangman, the lovers, the chariot, the moon, the fool, the death, the devil. Speaking of, here comes Corpse's music. I'm just doing this to see all of them. Oh my god. I'm not here,
I
sadly.
can't do shit right, I can't learn my lesson. I can't do shit right, take any depressants. Illness and welfare on my adolescence. My friends probably hate me, can't answer
I'm gonna
a
do the world
message.
premiere.
Filled with anxiety, always be hiding me. Feeling inadequate's always what's driving
God,
me.
so
Not a
good.
role model, that's not what I strive to be. Can't go outside, I'm afraid they'd be finding
Fuck.
me. Paranoid about my privacy, yeah. And they always asking questions about my face, can't relate. Fucking caught my own reflection, broke a mirror the other day. Got a lot of bad shit that I'm taking to my grave. Got a fucking date with death on house arrest till trial days. So I grab the red wine on rainy days and then I pour it. Cause I'll age another fucking 1,000 days before I know it. Yeah, I spend them all inside, waste my time while I'm scrolling. But I love when it rains, cause I'm agoraphobic.
Never mind then.
This is the last one, yeah. This shit is fucking difficult.
I'm back. Welcome back. We are literally at the last one. Done. I could literally just keep going. What is that? I don't think I have. Wait, I'm literally Google. Fuck. Never mind, I have. Never mind, I have. Never mind, I have. I literally just Googled it. Welcome back to my hair being a literal chameleon. Because now it's incredibly dark because of lighting. Oh, I think Gucci might be coming. Oh, what the fuck? Can't. Okay, that's just shit out of me. They're all done. I have to organize them, but they're all done. Alright, cool. Nice. I will edit them another time.
Don't hang up yet. I'm not done. I'm an expert. I'm the one. The one
Thank you, Clark, so much for the follow on Insomniac the Void.
better to be laughed at than wrong. I'm an expert in my
I love how majority is just my friends.
ancient aliens.
Alright.
It's all true. I'm an expert just like you, and like you, I'm a genius. Before my time.
Involuntary. Let's not make those jokes. Awesome sauce. Thanks, Jerry. Plus, yes. The emotional support, Jerry. Actually, no. If I'm gonna get the emotional support, if I'm gonna get the emotional support stuffed animal, he is the boy. Get the emotional support play Dr. Grimm. This is the emotional support stuffed animal. Bitch. I also did not realize my camera was gonna move as much as it did. And Jerry, my beloved, I am right here. Yes, we also have Grimm, who actually was the social support stuffed animal. Wait, what is that pleasure? This is a plague doctor. His name is Grimm. He kept me emotionally sane through college. He also glows. His little lamp glows in the dark. Yeah, we have a plague doctor stuffy. Yes, he's named after the Brother Grimms because I was reading a lot of their stories because I did a thesis. Rude. Because I was reading a lot of them for a photo series I was doing. Alright. We have all of the fun stuff. Now it's not for the fun so fun. Now it's time for the not so fun stuff. As Undertale music comes rocking in, hello. I forgot about that plush. How dare we forget about Grimm? Well, I don't think he's ever been on camera. No, he was. He was here during the 24-hour stream. Which, do we have evidence of? No. I forgot I did another 24-hour stream. How the fuck did I forget that? Okay. Either YouTube. Thanks. Oh, I thought that I read that completely wrong. Where is it? Here it is. That is not the tarot deck I have, but it's close to it. I'm so angry that's a pro. Because that'd be a cool backdrop. How much you pay for that mic? About 200 something dollars. But also, I got off of Amazon because this is a British company only mic. So you can get it off of Amazon. I need to create a fucking specs thing so I can put it where I have everything. Cause I'm in the process of, I'm not in the process, I'm starting to get my PC built. Yeah, I think this was like $200. We need to have a moth, not a moon, moth. Mothy. guys so much. Hi, welcome to the life of literally being a streamer. Oh, I love how it just keeps going. Yes, I love how it keeps going. Yeah, but it's good quality, so that's why I spent so much on it. No, I might as well stick to each other just in general $20. I have spent. We don't talk about. I was about to say no. I spent a lot of money on a bunch of other shit that I really should not be spending as much money on. Yeah, here we are. There we go. What do you use? What currency do you use? Because I know there's different places in Europe. Genshin cough cough A. I mean, you're right. You're right, but also I've spent too much money on college. Alright, that's understandable. It's cheaper. The fear I just got from this, I don't use Euros. I forgot what the other one was, but I know what it is. This song gives PTSD. Alright, no offense, girl, but I love you, but at the moment, I would like Lovejoy, please. You want? Alright, that's fine. Can I change the color of this, or is that just not possible? I mean, actually.
You got the same eyes as your father.
There we go.
And you carry the same kind of temper too. But what a shame for the people of low commute.
More moths.
Favorite things
More
fire
mothy
and a
things.
lager. Name better way to spin out a jar or two. He's a model citizen.
Actually.
through, you know.
Wait, don't I have an upload to fucking Minecraft Void?
How the fuck she end up with you? You know we talk about all the dumb shit you do. In the back room of the bar, in the back seat of my car. I'm the ending, she's the star. Well now you need to calm down.
Wait, what?
This energy.
Hi.
When you devote it to me, why not be a little more friendly? Now you need to calm down.
I want to see what they have for actual Minecraft.
Say my name in her sleep.
What the fuck is this?
You knew her better than me. But don't give me that face. You know that the chase is through. And well, she's still running away from you. You got the same eyes as your father.
I mean, that's pretty.
Carry the same kind of temper too. You know she told me that she fucking hates you. Now you need to calm down. What good's this energy when you devote it to me?
Oh my god, the screenshots you just sent me.
You need to calm down. Does she still think of me?
You had to go on fucking YouTube for this.
Thought you knew her better than me.
Oh my god. These are screenshots when my hair was, when I had my, oh my god. Well, first of all, this is when I was still faceless. But also, this is when my hair was silver. Damn. Wow, I feel old. Honestly! No, dude, I recently rewatched my cooking stream because I want to do another cooking stream, which I'm probably gonna do Friday. Because fuck it, why not? And I was like, damn. Quack two things. Quack two things. One, I love how you're Googling this. I love how you're Googling too. Why the fuck do you have 1,000 YouTube notifications? I know I'm exposing you. But like, bestie. I didn't have my septum during this! That is old. Oh wow. Yeah, I think this is good for download. I'm pretty sure I did as a gift. Cooking stream was 10 out of 10 content, I'm not gonna lie. Where is it? Oh, what? Why is this my most popular videos recently? Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand it's Critical Role, but like, goddamn. Where is it? Fucking Monica. This bitch still terrifies me to this day. Oh my god, the Undertale series is right next to it. This is the first time I actually had my face cam for a full like gameplay. Oh my god, I forever hate this video. Oh my god, 24-hour streams were painful. I think I already passed it. Yes, I did. Speedrunning to Affiliate was like one of the funniest fucking streams I've ever done. Oh yeah, the 24-hour stream, the power part. Here it is. I try not to burn my kitchen down. Funny enough, I break something in this video. Like, where's my mouse? Oh, not again. Is it F for full screen? Oh no, my mouse is actually, like, gone. Help, there it is. Let's see. Here it is. It's the fact eggs. I ate the... And I never said yes to something so hard in my life. Yes, I am the... Oh, this is where the kneecaps joke came from.
I don't need the kneecaps at all.
I must go blind for science. Oh yeah, because I had my camera awkward and in like a stupid position. Hi, Air. Yeah. I cannot tell you.
Did I break it? Kind of. It's fine. I'll fix it.
Did I break it? Kind of. I can fix it. I never fixed it. We threw it away. I broke like a stovetop, but we literally bought a new one like 2 days later. Lamalda, I'm okay. Because I knew someone was gonna ask. That you don't sound okay, but sure. Yeah, and then I moved my camera. Like, look at my fucking hair. Because the way I dropped it is it almost landed on my toe. Like, but like, damn. Fuck. I love just going through old VODs. Because it's like, yeah, you watched the first stream. And I am an awkward fucking mess. And then my friends join, which like tones down the awkwardness, but like, damn. It's been like what, like a year and 2 months? Which is ridiculous. I actually never finished this. We dropped this Sinning Sunday after like a week. Or after like a couple of weeks, but like, yeah. Yeah, this is when I worked on getting the assets for my new, when I did all of this, and then I got my new computer, which things weren't working. And then I actually figured out how to fix it. And then we just went smooth sailing. Wait, and then you can actually see the, oh my god, I updated my things when oh my god, you get the redemption code if I used to stream on Thursdays. You get... Like, damn. Restarting the hard... I don't play on hardcore. This is the Undertale the musical vibes. We never continued with this. It is right here. This was 9 fucking months ago. This was 9 months ago. You can hear Shiver meowing. I never realized how quiet I was in this video. I also don't know what the fuck happened to this choker. I know where this necklace is. I don't know where this choker is. Look at the chat. Oh, Sushi was in the room. Oh my god, my hair was so long back then. Damn. Shiver! Was I in the stream? I think you were. Just a little. Yeah, there's Quack. I think you joined later though.
How are you? Without my hair.
Hi, welcome to stream. I'm dyeing my hair. Yeah, I actually don't know what happened to this bottle of hair dye. Cause there was like a good amount, and then I was like, yeah, I can go home and like do silver again.
I'm currently telling them not to eat a shower.
Oh, wait, this is the Technoblade Never Dies part. Cause you can see my hand come up. Yeah, there you are, Z. Wait, there's 2 what? There you are. This is a gorgeous frame. Oh, this is also the video where my face was leaked and no one said anything.
Yeah.
Where's just a part where my hand comes up? That's a Coke bottle.
Are y'all fighting over a soda bottle?
Where is it?
Yeah, they should be.
Whoop. I feel honored. It's really funny because like a bunch of the people who first followed me don't follow me anymore. Where it was one of these towel shots. You see me back up and you can see my face. It's probably coming up. Cause yep, there it is. Beautiful. The towel. I wish they did. I want to see chat be lively again. It is called I Need to Start Posting on My Clips on TikTok, which I actually have a site. Actually, hold the fuck up. I have to put something. It's in my favorites. Yeah. Oh, don't tell me they got rid of it. Okay, thank God. Yeah. So I have this. So I can start posting on TikTok. I just need to log in. But also, I don't think I'm signed into this. I have this. Which basically means that you can order me food. But yeah. Show me all the answer. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna add that like later on because it just seems really sweet. It's just like, hey, a streamer wants food. Oh. Ooh, I never heard that. I knew about it, I just didn't know what it was. But yeah. So it works for like the, it works when I do the week stream because that is planned. I have a date set. I have nothing happening that week. Hopefully, I swear to God, if that changes, I'm gonna cry. But yeah, that could definitely happen. But yeah, again, it's basically just like my tipping. You don't have to do it, it's completely optional. But yeah, I'm also gonna work with this, but yeah. Back to what we were doing originally, which is this. This just became a walk down memory fucking lane. Alright. Okay. I hate that I got that from literally... Okay. We were working on... Stupid Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi do be sniping people, man. Okay, wait. Actually, this is uploaded. Hold up. Hold up. Leave.
All this over a kiss. You weren't there. Why you pressed by this? But now it's turning 3 in the morning.
You're gonna see my screen go black. But ignore that. Where is it? Ah. No! Let me at it! Oh wait, shit. Forgot how to stream. Display capture. Fuck, how did I do that the first time? Okay, I have it set as a scene. I love the memory. I should have done that for my. Imagine never being the first. If I wanted. I mean, yeah, Wi-Fi do be kidding me. If Wayward honestly wanted to buy me food, they would just go and buy me food. Their brother has a car, so they honestly can just.
Kiss. You weren't there, so why you pressed by this?
What happened?
Turning 3 in the morning, the bouncers put you on his third warning, but I'm still here and I'm not leaving.
Alright, we're just gonna have a black screen for a little bit. Let me figure this out. I'm 100% option, it is just a scene. No, create. What is James Charles being called out over? Wait. Create new. Nope, I forgot. That's for something else. Remove. Yes. Which is good about a lot of this because nope, I have to actually go in and re-add it. Scene. I'm only adding new scene, which is kind of well, I'm gonna turn it right because I'm mad so bad. Okay. Bye, Quack! Well, let me add a new scene, which is kind of annoying. Oh, I hate how it's also just a black screen. But I don't like his eyes, and I just stress the name. Alright, we're gonna try the fun thing of just dragging it in. Attracting me to cry. Aw, damn. I can't do this. Why don't leave me? Hey! Alright, it's being weird. Never mind. I'm back. Maybe I just honestly need to do it with a different. Oh, it is almost 9 o'clock. Holy shit. I forgot to eat it. Okay. 5. Actually, wait, very soon. Yeah, they're gifts. So I don't understand. I don't understand why they're not coming up. There we go. Now it fucking works. I heard open the door, and I recently watched Euphoria, so I was expecting just to hear Zendaya go, open the door, open the door, open the fucking door. In the dust, darling, life is streaming past. So she learned to lie. She learned how to pretend. Actually, I'm gonna do something else. A means to an end. Why can't you be a dick? Why must you be so nice? It's hard for me to move on when I don't really hate you. Oh! Are you testing a new feature? No, I'm being a dumbass. No, I figured it out. Okay, wait. Where is it? Where the fuck did it get? There it is. There we go. Look at that. It's so pretty. Look at that. It's added. It's so beautiful. I need to add the text and all that, but I've returned. It looks so pretty. Alright. Now I see. Yeah. So I have my 2 starting soon. Bestie, no. So we have my
Taxi's not arrived.
we have Air Venus and then we have Insomniac Void, which are two different vibes, but I appreciate them. Oh, thank God. Thank God it stops at the right point. Alright. Now, do I want to go work on all the frustrating stuff? Not really. I realize you can see all of my... Okay. Bestie. No. Card that's such a smooth ending. I know! I'm so happy about that. Alright, 1 second. We're going to the full screen, which is a little bit fucked. But I have to log in. And it's gonna request something out of me. I have to do this on the other side. Yep. I have to use press pop chat is here. No, it's good. Streaming tools, my overlay. Here they are. No, it's fine. I just forgot I have them connected to two different things. Here we go. Alright, we're switching my other ones. Alright, I have to use the bathroom again. Never mind, I'm gonna work on these off stream. Why? Because this is actually connected to personal things and I can't open paths. I'm not gonna end stream. I'm gonna probably chat for a little bit. But I'm gonna switch this. Yeah, there we go. Yep, okay, awesome. Let me use the bathroom really quickly. Wait, Grant. There's no good place to put him. Keep chat entertained for me, boy. Oh shit. Wait, there we go. Keep the chat entertained.
Wait until next week. You're keeping a dark secret, but you're talking in your sleep.
I've heard. I'm Sarah Drew, the Grimace the best boy now. I'm ending stream. Nah, okay, but like honestly, food is cooked, it's macaroni and cheese. I was gonna go make ramen, but like, oh no, not the sherbet. We got the Irish bunny. I wonder how old Grim is. He's a couple months old. He's about 3 months. He's about 3 years old. He's very old boy. Okay. So I'm going to end the stream because there's food, but also random question. I was gonna go make ramen. I was like, I make ramen a really weird way. because I recently started adding like milk to my ramen, but it's in the sense of like I boil it with water and then I add.
They'll never know what you knew. And we're so calm, but we're
Fuck.
and we're so calm, but we're
Nah. But yeah, like after I like boil it, I make it to like a right consistency, and then I put like all the sauces, and then I put like milk in it, because it makes it richer. And I realize that's not a normal thing. But yeah, alright. I'm on extreme because I'm being summoned by the parents to go eat. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It feels very, very nice to see everyone here. Of course, definitely go follow the alt account. I might be going live tomorrow. And it'll probably be The Sims because I got my Sims working again, which is recently my new addiction. Yeah, let's see, who's live? We're gonna go to my other tab I have opened. And you know what? We're gonna go raid Canary Cry's cosplay. I know I raided them last time, but they are doing a Jackbox pack game and they're doing it with viewers. So you will definitely go enjoy that. So come along, see the apathy. Does this still work? Hell yeah, it does. My link tree is very out of date. But that is completely fine. But yeah, you will not be seeing me tomorrow because it is Thursday. I do not stream. That's just because I play D&D with my friends, as we all probably know by now. But I don't know. I might go on the alt tomorrow because I stream incredibly late because those are more cozy vibe games. But yeah, you will definitely see me Friday. I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen on Friday. It honestly might be Minecraft because I need to get back into playing that game. But yeah, bye bye.